Admiral Taemin Park stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the stars through the large window. He had seen many things in his 30 years of service, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. The communication device on his desk was flashing red, indicating an incoming message from outside Earth's solar system. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission," said Lieutenant Ji Nam from her station. "It's coming from the Kepler system. The signal is strange." Taemin walked over to the communication console. He had heard rumors about alien life, but Earth's government had always kept such information secret. Now, it seemed, the secrets were about to come out. "Put it through," he ordered. The screen flickered, and suddenly a face appeared. It looked almost human, but the skin had a blue tint, and the eyes were larger than normal. The creature wore what appeared to be a uniform, with symbols that meant nothing to Taemin. "Greetings, people of Earth," the being said in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Yuki Tanaka. I know my name sounds human because I was raised by your kind many years ago. I represent the Galactic Council, and we need your help." Taemin felt his heart racing. First contact with aliens, and they needed help from humans? This was not how he had imagined it would happen. "What kind of help?" he asked. Yuki's expression became serious. "Our galaxy is at war. 3 great powers have been fighting for over 200 years. The Velkari Empire controls the outer worlds with their living ships. The Nethys Collective rules the trade routes with vessels made of pure energy. The Threx swarm spreads through the core systems with fleets controlled by hive minds." The screen showed images of massive space battles. Ships the size of cities fought each other with weapons that could destroy planets. Taemin watched in amazement as biological creatures with teeth and claws battled crystalline structures that shot beams of light. "We have lost 60% of our combined fleets," Yuki continued. "Billions are dying every day. The Council has decided to ask for Earth's military assistance." Taemin almost laughed. "You want our help? Your ships are enormous. Our largest vessels are tiny compared to what you've shown us." "Size is not everything," Yuki replied. "We have studied your history. Humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years. You understand tactics and strategy in ways we do not. Will you help us?" Taemin knew this decision was beyond his authority. "I need to speak with my superiors. Give me 24 hours. After the transmission ended, Taemin immediately contacted Earth's government. Within hours, he was in a secure meeting with President Eugene Oh and the Global Defense Committee. "This changes everything," said President Oh. "If we help them, we become part of a galactic war. If we refuse, they might see us as a threat." Director Sang-Ho Kim leaned forward. "We should ask for something in return. Technology, protection. For our solar system, guarantees of independence." "What can we actually offer them?" asked General Dong Hyun-yoon. "Their ships are massive. Their weapons can destroy planets. What do they think we can do that they cannot?" President Oh made the decision. "Admiral Park, you will meet with this council. Take one of our best ships and see what they really want. But remember, we negotiate from a position of strength, not weakness." 3 days later, Taemin stood on the bridge of the reconnaissance. Vessel Soul's Pride. Captain Bo-Ram Kim was at the helm, her hand steady on the controls. The ship was one of Earth's newest designs, sleek and fast, but small compared to the alien vessels they were about to meet. "Jumping to hyperspace in 10 seconds, announced Bo-Ram. "Destination, Council Station Alpha." The stars stretched into lines, and suddenly they were traveling faster than light. Earth's technology was different from what the aliens used, but it worked just as well. In less than an hour, they arrived at the meeting point. Taemin stared, in amazement. The Council Station was enormous, easily 50 kilometers across. Ships from dozens of different species were docked around it. Some looked like living creatures, others like geometric crystals, and many were shapes that hurt to look at. "Incoming transmission," reported Lieutenant Hyun-Woo Lee from the communications station. Soul's Pride, you are cleared for docking. Bay 7, came a mechanical voice. Welcome to Council Station Alpha. As their ship moved closer, Taemin could see alien beings through the station's windows. Some had tentacles instead of arms, others had multiple heads, and a few seemed to be made of pure light. I've never seen anything like this, whispered Boram. They docked without incident, and soon Timon found himself walking through corridors filled with aliens. The station's artificial gravity felt normal, but the air had a strange smell, like metal and flowers mixed together. Ambassador Yuki met them at the docking bay. In person, she looked even more unusual, but her smile was genuinely warm. Admiral Park, thank you for coming. The Council is eager to meet with you. She led them through the station to a large circular room. Around a massive table sat representatives from hundreds of different species. Some were so alien that Timon could not tell which end was the head. Honorable Council members, Yuki announced, I present Admiral Taemin Park of the Earth Defense Force. A large reptilian being stood up. Its skin was green and covered in scales, and its eyes were yellow with vertical pupils. I am Fleet Commander Gorvak of the Velkari Empire. Human, your ships are very small. How can such tiny vessels help us defeat our enemies? Another being, made of what looked like living crystal, pulsed with blue light as it spoke. I am Nexus Prime Christhia of the Nethys Collective. Our energy weapons can destroy entire moons. What weapons do you possess? A third alien, resembling a giant insect with multiple arms, clicked its mandibles. I am Hive Queen Scritch of the Threx Swarm. Our fleets number in the tens of thousands. How many ships can Earth provide? Taemin stood calmly before these massive beings. He had expected this reaction. We can provide quality over quantity. Our terms are simple. Complete tactical control of any operations we participate in, and guaranteed protection of human space. Several aliens made sounds that might have been laughter. Gorvak's yellow eyes gleamed with amusement. You want tactical control? You, whose entire species controls only one small star system? Yes, Taemin replied simply. The council members spoke among themselves in dozens of different languages. Finally, Yuki translated their decision. The council agrees to your terms, but only for small operations. They want to see what human tactics can accomplish. Fleet Commander Gorvak leaned forward. There is a Velkari raiding fleet in the Deneb system. 12 of our bioships, each 1 kilometer long. They have been attacking supply convoys for weeks. If your small human vessel can stop them, perhaps we will take you seriously. Taemin smiled. Captain Kim will handle this mission. When do we start? Now, said Gorvak. My scouts report the raiders will attack another convoy in 6 hours. As they prepared to leave the station, Boram approached Taemin privately. Sir, 12-kilometer-long warships? Our destroyer Busan Thunder is only 300 meters long. Are you sure about this? Taemin nodded. Captain So-Young Choi and her crew know what they're doing. Besides, these aliens are about to learn something important about humans. What's that, sir? That we've been fighting wars since before we could walk upright. Size isn't everything in a battle. The Busan Thunder undocked from the station and jumped to hyperspace. In the observation deck, dozens of alien officials watched through powerful telescopes as the small human ship disappeared into the void. This should be entertaining, Gorvak said to his aide. The humans will learn quickly that space warfare is different from their primitive planet-bound conflicts. But deep in his ship's files, Taemin had reports that would have shocked the aliens. Earth's weapons were not primitive. They were just very, very different from anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Busan Thunder arrived in the Deneb system just as the Velkari raiders were approaching a convoy of merchant ships. The bioships were massive, their hull surfaces covered in what looked like scales and teeth. They moved through space like predators hunting prey. Captain So-Young Choi watched from her bridge as the enemy ships surrounded the convoy. All stations, prepare for combat. Let's show these aliens what human engineering can do. The first Velkari bioship died in a flash of light that could be seen from the council station, 50 light-years away. The news spread across the galaxy faster than anyone had expected. Within hours of the Busan Thunder's victory, every major news network was broadcasting the same impossible story. A single human ship had destroyed 12 Velkari bioships in under 4 minutes. General Dong-Hyun-yoon sat in his office on Earth, reading intelligence reports from across known space. The aliens were confused, frightened, and very curious about human military capabilities. "Sir, we're getting requests from every major species," reported his aide, Lieutenant Jae-sung Kang. "They all want to know how we did it." Dong-hyun smiled grimly. "What did Captain Choi report?" She said the enemy ships were large but slow. Their weapons were powerful but took too long to aim. When they tried to ram her ship, she simply moved out of the way and fired her plasma cannons. "And the aliens are impressed by this?" "Terrified might be a better word, sir." Meanwhile, on Council Station Alpha, emergency meetings were being held in every delegation's quarters. Fleet Commander Gorvak paced back and forth in his chambers, his yellow eyes fixed on the battle recordings. "Replay it again," he ordered. His aide. For the 20th time, the hologram showed the Busan Thunder engaging the Velkari raiders. The human ship was indeed tiny compared to the bioships, but it moved like nothing the aliens had ever seen. While the Velkari vessels lumbered through space like floating cities, the human destroyer danced between them, firing weapons that cut through their organic armor like hot knives through soft meat. "How is this possible?" Gorvak muttered. "Their ship is so small. Our bioships have armor 3 meters thick." His aide, a younger Velkari named Thakros, studied the data. "Sir, I think their weapons work differently than ours. Look at the energy readings. They're not just more powerful, they're using physics we don't understand." In the Nethys section of the station, Nexus Prime Christia was having similar problems. The crystalline being pulsed with confused colors as it analyzed the human attack patterns. "Their tactical approach makes no sense," Christia transmitted to its collective. "They attack from multiple angles simultaneously. How can one small ship coordinate so many different weapon systems?" The answer, unknown to the aliens, was that human ships were designed differently. While alien vessels were built like flying cities, with thousands of crew members operating separate systems, human ships used advanced computers that could control every weapon at once. A single human captain could coordinate attacks that would require dozens of alien commanders. Back on Earth, Admiral Taemin Park was meeting with President Yoo Oh and the Defense Committee. "The aliens want a full demonstration," Taemin reported. "They're setting up something they call a proving ground in the Kepler debris field." "What kind of demonstration?" asked President Oh. "They want to see our fleet capabilities. They're bringing their 3 best war fleets to test us in mock combat." Director Sang-Ho Kim looked concerned. "How many ships are they bringing?" 200. They're elite forces from all 3 factions. The room fell silent. Earth's entire space navy consisted of fewer than 50 ships, and most of those were exploratory. Vessels, not warships. "What ships are you planning to take?" President Oh asked. Taemin smiled. "I'm bringing a small task force. The cruiser Incheon's Might, destroyers Gwangju Storm and Daegu Lightning, and our newest battleship, Dokdo's Wrath." 4 ships against 200? General Yoon shook his head. "Even with our advantages, those odds are impossible." "Are they?" Taemin asked. "Remember, these aliens have been fighting the same war for over 2 centuries. They're used to massive fleet battles where thousands of ships pound each other until one side runs out of vessels. They've never faced an enemy that thinks differently." 3 days later, the human task force arrived at the Kepler debris field. The area was filled with the wreckage of ancient battles, twisted metal, and broken ships floating in the darkness. It was the perfect place for a demonstration. Admiral Wu Jin-shin commanded the task force from the bridge of the Incheon's might. Captain Min Jung-han stood on the bridge of the Dokdo's Wrath, watching as the alien fleets took their positions. "Look at them," said Lieutenant So Young-choi from the tactical station. "They're forming up like they're going to attack a fortress." She was right. The alien ships had arranged themselves in 3 massive formations, each group containing dozens of enormous vessels. The Velkari bioships looked like a pack of space whales, the Nethys energy ships glowed like mobile stars, and the Threx hive ships moved in perfect synchronization. "All ships, this is Admiral Shin," came the voice-over, the communication system. "Remember, this is supposed to be a mock battle, but stay alert. Some of these aliens might decide to make it real." Captain Han studied the enemy formations on her tactical display. 200 ships, the largest of which was over 5 kilometers long. The combined firepower facing them could destroy entire planets. "Captain," said Lieutenant Woo Jin Kim from the weapons station, "all systems are ready. Plasma lance batteries are charged, quantum torpedoes are loaded, and the gravitational manipulation system is online." "Very good. Take us to battle stations." The Dokdo's Wrath was humanity's newest and most advanced warship. Unlike the alien vessels, which were designed to overwhelm enemies with size and firepower, the human battleship was built for precision and speed. Every system was controlled by quantum computers that could process millions of calculations per second. The mock battle began when Admiral Gorvak's voice echoed across all frequencies. "Human fleet, prepare to be destroyed. All ships, attack!" The alien formation surged forward like 3 massive waves, but instead of meeting them head-on, the human ships did something unexpected. They split apart, each vessel moving in a different direction. "What are they doing?" Nexus Prime Christhia transmitted to its fleet. "They're breaking formation. This makes no tactical sense." But Admiral Shin knew exactly what he was doing. While the aliens expected a traditional fleet engagement, the humans were implementing something called distributed warfare. Each ship became an independent unit, using the debris field for cover while coordinating their attacks through quantum-linked communication systems. The Gwangju Storm struck first. Commander Taeyoung Kim brought his destroyer around a massive piece of wreckage and fired a spread of quantum torpedoes at the Velkari formation. The weapons phased through the bioship's shields as if they weren't there and exploded inside. Their hulls. 6 Velkari ships died instantly. "Impossible!" roared Gorvak. "Their weapons passed through our shields." He didn't understand that human quantum torpedoes operated on a different principle. Instead of trying to overpower alien shields, they simply existed in a quantum state that allowed them to ignore most forms of energy barriers. The Daegu Lightning attacked next, targeting the Nethys formation. Captain Hee Jin Bak fired the ship's plasma lance batteries, weapons that could cut through the strongest materials known to humans. The Nethys energy shields, designed to stop kinetic projectiles and energy beams, offered no protection against focused plasma that burned at temperatures found in the cores of stars. 8 Nethys ships were sliced in half, but it was the Dokdo's Wrath that shocked the aliens the most. Captain Han activated the battleship's gravitational manipulation system, a weapon that could bend space itself. Suddenly, 20 Threx hive ships found themselves pulled together by artificial gravity fields that crushed their hulls like tin. "Cans! This is not possible!" transmitted Hive Queen Scritch. "They're manipulating gravity itself!" The alien fleets tried to adapt, but they were fighting an enemy that operated on completely different principles. While alien tactics were based on overwhelming firepower and massive formations, humans had learned to fight wars using speed, precision, and technology that the rest of the galaxy had never imagined. The Incheon's might, meanwhile, was demonstrating human defensive capabilities. As dozens of alien ships fired on the cruiser, their weapons simply bounced off its shields or were absorbed by defensive fields that converted incoming energy into additional power for the ship's systems. "Sir," reported Lieutenant Young Soo, Lim from the tactical station, "enemy fire is actually charging our batteries. Should we return fire?" Admiral Shin smiled. "Not yet. Let them waste their ammunition." The battle, if it could be called that, lasted exactly 18 minutes. When the mock engagement ended, the human task force had completely destroyed the alien fleet without losing a single ship. Not one human vessel reported damage above 12%, and most of that was from minor impacts with debris. The alien commanders sat in stunned silence as they watched the tactical recordings. 200 of their best ships destroyed by 4 human vessels that were smaller than their escort fighters. "How?" whispered Fleet Commander Gorvak. "How is this possible?" Ambassador Yuki, who had observed the battle from a neutral ship, tried to explain. "Honored commanders, I think we have made a fundamental error. We assumed that because human ships are small, human technology must be primitive. But what if the opposite is true? What if their ships are small because their technology is so advanced that they don't need massive vessels?" The truth was even simpler than that. Humans had spent thousands of years learning to fight wars against other humans. Every conflict had taught them new lessons about tactics strategy and the importance of technological innovation. The galaxy changed overnight. Within hours of the demonstration in the Kepler debris field, emergency sessions were being held in the capitals of all 3 major powers. The broadcast of the mock battle had been viewed by trillions of beings across thousands of worlds, and the message was clear. Humans were not just another minor species asking to join galactic civilization. They were something entirely different. On the Velkari homeworld of Scaran, Empress Thessala stood before her war council in the Great Bone Hall. The massive chamber was built from the skeletons of ancient creatures, its walls decorated with the skulls of enemies defeated over millennia. But today, the war leaders of the Velkari Empire felt small and vulnerable. "Show me the recordings again," Thessala commanded, her forked tongue flicking out to taste the fear in the air. The holographic display activated, showing the human ships, destroying the Velkari biofleet. Each time Thessala watched it, she understood less. The human weapons seemed to ignore the natural laws of physics that governed the rest of the galaxy. "Empress," said General Vorak, his scales pale with worry, "our bioships have evolved for millions of years. Their armor is living tissue that can adapt to any attack. How did the human weapons cut through it so easily?" "That is what we must learn," Thessala replied. "I am declaring humans a Category 7 threat, the highest level in our military classification system. We have never used this classification for any species." Meanwhile, in the crystal cities of the Nethys homeworld, the High Collective was reaching similar conclusions. The Nethys were beings of pure energy housed in crystalline structures, and they communicated through pulses of light that could convey complex thoughts instantly. "The human energy weapons operate on principles we do not understand," pulsed Nexus Prime Valdris, the leader of the High Collective. "Our energy shields are designed to deflect or absorb any known form of attack. But these human plasma weapons simply cut through our defenses as if they were not there." "What do our scientists say?" asked another member of the collective. "They say the humans are using technology that should not be possible. They are manipulating matter at the quantum level in ways that violate our understanding of physics." The IA collective voted unanimously to classify human weapons as reality-breaking technology, a term they had never used before. On the Threx hive worlds, the situation was even more disturbing. The Threx were insectoid creatures that shared a collective consciousness, allowing them to coordinate their fleets with perfect precision. But the human gravitational weapons had done something that shocked them to their core. The humans can manipulate gravity itself, transmitted Grand Queen Crystal to her subordinates. This means they understand forces that we have only theorized about. If they can control gravity, what else can they do? Can they manipulate time? Can they alter space itself? The Grand Queen ordered immediate research into human neural patterns. If the humans were so technologically advanced, perhaps their brains worked differently than other species. Perhaps they could think thoughts that were impossible for other beings. Back on Earth, President Yu Jin-oh was dealing with the political consequences of humanity's demonstration. The Global Defense Committee was meeting in emergency session, and the debates were intense. "We need to expand our military immediately," argued Director Sang-ho Kim, slamming his hand on the conference table. "Every major power in the galaxy now sees us as a threat. They'll be building weapons to counter our technology." "That's exactly why we need to be careful," replied Science Advisor Yunbi Jiang. "If we start building massive fleets, we'll prove that we're the threat they think we are. We need to focus on diplomacy." Admiral Park, who had just returned from the council station, shook his head. "Diplomacy won't work. I've been monitoring alien communications. They're not trying to negotiate with us. They're trying to figure out how to destroy us." "What do you mean?" asked President O. "Show them the intelligence reports, Colonel Park," Admiral Park said to his aide. Colonel Sung-Hwan Park of Human Intelligence activated a holographic display. "We've intercepted communications between all three alien factions. They've stopped fighting each other and are now sharing information about human technology." The display showed alien research facilities working around the clock. Scientists from species that had been enemies for centuries were now collaborating, sharing data about human weapons and ship designs. "They're particularly interested in our neural interfaces and quantum computation systems," Colonel Park continued. "They think that human brains work differently than theirs, and they want to understand how we can control such complex weapon systems." "Are they trying to copy our technology?" asked Director Kim. "Worse, they're trying to improve it. The Velkari are attempting to create bioships that can regenerate from quantum torpedo damage. The Nethys are working on energy shields that can absorb plasma lance fire. And the Threks are developing hive minds that can think in multiple dimensions to counter our gravitational weapons." President O leaned back in her chair. "How long before they succeed?" "Unknown, but they're sharing resources in ways they never have before. The three-way war that has been going on for centuries has effectively ended. Now they have a common enemy: us." While Earth's leaders debated their response, Captain Young-Soo Lim was conducting secret reconnaissance missions in his stealth corvette, Shadow of Jeju. The ship used advanced cloaking technology that made it invisible to most sensors, allowing him to observe alien activities without being detected. "Admiral, you need to see this," Lim reported during a secure transmission to Admiral Park. "I'm at the edge of Velkari space, and they're building something massive." The transmission included visual data from the Shadow of Jeju's sensors. Lim had discovered a construction site that stretched across an entire star system. Thousands of ships were working together to build what appeared to be a space station the size of a small moon. "It's not just the Velkari," Lim continued. "I've detected Nethys energy signatures and Threk's hive frequencies. All three factions are working together on this project." Admiral Park studied the images with growing concern. "Any idea what they're building?" "Best guess? It's a research facility designed to study human technology. But, sir, there's something else. I'm detecting similar construction projects in Nethys and Threk space. They're building 3 of these things." The implications were terrifying. If the aliens could successfully reverse engineer human technology, they would have all the advantages of human weapons systems, plus the industrial capacity of 3 galactic civilizations. On Council Station Alpha, Ambassador Yuki was trying to maintain diplomatic relations, but the situation was becoming impossible. The alien delegates who had once been eager to work with humans were now suspicious and hostile. "Ambassador Tanaka," said Council Chairman Valdris during what was supposed to be a routine meeting, "the Council requires detailed specifications of human weapons systems. This is for standardization purposes, of course." Yuki had been raised by humans and understood their culture better than most aliens. She recognized this request for what it really was, an attempt to steal human technology. Chairman Valdris, I'm afraid that information is classified. However, I can assure you that human weapons are only used for defensive purposes. Defensive? Valdris pulsed with colors that indicated disbelief. Your ships destroyed 200 of our best vessels in 18 minutes. That level of destructive capability goes far beyond defense. The Council specifically requested a demonstration of human capabilities, Yuki replied calmly. We provided exactly what you asked for. But she could see that her words were not having the desired effect. The alien delegates were convinced that humans were hiding even more powerful weapons, and their fear was turning to anger. That night, alone in her quarters, Yuki sent a secret message to Earth. The situation here is deteriorating rapidly. The aliens are planning something, but I don't know what. Recommend immediate evacuation of all human personnel from Council space. Her message arrived just as Admiral Park was receiving another report from Colonel Park's intelligence division. The aliens had moved beyond research and were now positioning fleets throughout the galaxy. Sir, we've identified fleet movements from all three factions, Colonel Park reported. They're not attacking each other anymore. They're all moving toward human space. How many ships? Admiral Park asked. Our best estimate is over 3,000 vessels. They're positioning themselves at the edge of our solar system, but staying just outside sensor range. President O made the decision that would change everything. Admiral Park, I'm authorizing Protocol Omega. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity is really capable of. Protocol Omega was Earth's most closely guarded secret. For decades, human shipyards had been building vessels in complete secrecy, using technology that even most humans didn't know existed. The ships that had fought in the Kepler debris field were just the beginning. How many ships are we talking about? Asked Director Kim. Admiral Park smiled grimly. Enough. 3 days later, the alien fleets received a joint transmission on all frequencies. The message was simple and direct, delivered by Admiral Park himself. To all alien vessels currently positioned near human space, you have 72 hours to withdraw beyond the 50 light-year boundary. The 72-hour deadline expired at exactly 12 Earth Standard Time. Admiral Taemin Park stood on the bridge of his flagship, Seoul's Vengeance, watching the tactical display that showed the alien armada positioned at the edge of the solar system. 3,000 ships from 3 different civilizations, all united in their determination to force humanity into submission. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet, reported Lieutenant Ji-hye Nam. Put it through, Admiral Park ordered. The screen filled with the image of Supreme Commander Thakros, the Velkari leader who had been chosen to command the joint alien forces. Behind him, Admiral Park could see representatives from the Nethys Collective and the Threx Swarm. Admiral Park, Thakros began, his yellow eyes gleaming with confidence. Your deadline has passed. We are here to deliver the final ultimatum of the United Galactic Civilizations. Surrender all military technology to the Council for Study and Distribution or face total species sanitation. Admiral Park remained calm. And if we refuse, then you will be destroyed, Nexus Admiral Zenthari added, its crystalline form pulsing with threatening energy. We have 3,000 ships. You have fewer than 50. Your technology may be advanced, but you cannot overcome odds of 60 to 1. Swarm General Clicksta clicked its mandibles in agreement. The hive mind has calculated all possible outcomes. Your species has 2 choices, surrender or extinction. Admiral Park looked at each of the alien commanders in turn. You seem very confident in your numbers. Numbers matter in war, Thakros replied. You may have superior individual ship capabilities, but you lack the industrial capacity to build the fleets necessary for galactic warfare. Do we? Admiral Park asked quietly. Before the aliens could respond, he cut the transmission and turned to his communications officer. Signal all fleets. Execute Protocol Omega. Across the solar system, space itself began to change. The aliens, watching through their powerful sensors, saw something that should have been impossible. Human ships were appearing everywhere, emerging from what looked like empty space. "Sir," reported the Velkari sensor officer aboard Thackros's flagship, "I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout the human system. Ships are decloaking all around us." Thackros stared at his tactical display in growing disbelief. Seconds earlier, his sensors had shown fewer than 50 human vessels. Now there were hundreds, then thousands. "This is impossible," whispered Nexus Admiral Zenthari. "Where did they all come from?" The answer was that humanity had been preparing for this moment for decades. While the aliens had been fighting their endless three-way war, human shipyards had been working in secret, protected by cloaking fields that made them invisible to alien sensors. Earth's true fleet had been hiding in plain sight. Captain He-Jin Bayek stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Mount Hala's Rage, one of humanity's newest and most powerful warships. Around her, the tactical display showed the deployment of the first battle group, 200 ships that had been concealed in the asteroid belt. "All ships, this is Captain Bayek," she announced on the fleet frequency. "Remember your training. We are not here to fight a traditional space battle. We are here to demonstrate why humanity does not fight fair." Similar announcements were being made throughout the solar system as human fleets revealed themselves. The second battle group emerged from behind Luna. The third battle group uncloaked near Jupiter. The fourth and fifth battle groups appeared from the outer planets. In total, the human fleet numbered over 4,000 ships. "Impossible," roared Thackros as his tactical officer reported the numbers. "How can they have so many ships? We've been monitoring their industrial capacity for months." What the aliens didn't understand was that human industrial capacity wasn't located in obvious places like planets or space stations. Human shipyards were mobile, hidden inside asteroids and powered by miniaturized fusion reactors. While the aliens built their ships in massive visible facilities, humans had learned to construct their vessels in secret. Commander Tae-Young Kim aboard the battlecruiser Andong's Pride watched as the alien fleet tried to reorganize itself to face the unexpected threat. But it was too late. The aliens had positioned themselves for an attack on a small, outnumbered human force. They were not prepared for a fleet engagement against superior numbers and superior technology. "All ships, commence attack," Admiral Park ordered. What happened next was unlike any space battle in galactic history. The aliens expected a massive fleet engagement where thousands of ships would pound each other with conventional weapons until one side was destroyed. Instead, they faced something they had never encountered: coordinated human warfare. Human ships didn't attack in waves or formations. They attacked as a single, unified intelligence. Every ship in the fleet was connected through quantum communication, links that allowed them to coordinate their attacks with perfect precision. While the alien commanders struggled to maintain communication with their scattered forces, the human fleet operated as if it had a single mind. Lieutenant Commander Soo-Jin Park, aboard the frigate Mokpo's Edge, demonstrated this coordination by targeting a massive Nethys Titan-class mothership. Her small vessel, only 200 meters long, fired a single quantum torpedo that phased through the alien ship's energy shields and detonated inside its power core. The 5-kilometer-long mothership exploded in a flash of light that could be seen from Earth. "One ship!" Nexus Admiral Zenthari transmitted in panic. "A single human frigate just destroyed our flagship." But that was only the beginning. Across the battlefield, human ships were demonstrating weapons and tactics that the aliens had never imagined. The destroyer Soul's Lightning used gravitational pulse weapons to crush entire squadrons of Threx hive ships. The cruiser Busan's Hammer fired plasma lance batteries that sliced through Velkari bioships like cutting through paper. The aliens tried to fight back, but their weapons were designed for the kind of warfare they understood. Massive ships trading fire at long range until one side was destroyed. Human ships fought differently. They used speed, stealth, and precision strikes to cripple enemy vessels before they could respond. "All ships, fall back," ordered Thakros as he watched his fleet being systematically destroyed. "Retreat to safe distance." But there was no safe distance. Human ships were faster than anything the aliens had ever built. They used quantum jump drives that could move them instantly across the battlefield, appearing behind enemy ships and destroying them before disappearing again. Captain Siwoo Moon, commanding the experimental carrier Hangang's Fury, launched squadrons of unmanned fighters that moved through space like swarms of deadly insects. Each fighter was controlled by artificial intelligence that could react faster than any biological pilot. They swarmed over the alien ships, finding weak points in their armor and exploiting them with surgical precision. "Sir, we're losing ships, faster than we can count them," reported the tactical officer aboard Thakros' flagship. "The humans are destroying our vessels at a rate of 10 to 1. Swarm General Clixta tried to coordinate a counterattack using the Threx hive mind's ability to control multiple ships simultaneously, but even the hive mind couldn't process information fast enough to match human quantum computers that could calculate millions of targeting solutions per second. "The hive mind is being overwhelmed," Clixta transmitted in desperation. "The humans are thinking faster than we can react." Admiral Park watched the battle from his flagship, but he wasn't commanding individual ships. Human fleet doctrine was different from alien tactics. Instead of micromanaging every vessel, human commanders established objectives and let their ship captains achieve them using their own judgment and artificial intelligence support. "Sir, enemy fleet is down to 60% strength," reported his tactical officer. "They're trying to retreat." "Let them go," Admiral Park ordered. "We've made our point." But the retreat was chaotic and costly. As the alien ships tried to escape, human vessels pursued them, picking off stragglers and damaged vessels. The aliens discovered that human weapons had ranges far beyond anything they had expected. Ships that thought they were safely out of range suddenly found themselves under attack by weapons that could strike targets across entire star systems. The battle lasted exactly 47 minutes. When it ended, the 3,000-ship alien armada had been reduced to fewer than 800 vessels, most of them damaged and fleeing in panic. The human fleet had lost no ships and reported damage levels below 12% across all vessels. "This is impossible," whispered Thakros as his battered flagship limped away from the solar system. "No species can have technology this advanced. It violates everything we know about physics and warfare. But the aliens were learning that humanity didn't follow the same rules as other species. While the rest of the galaxy had developed space warfare based on the principles they used for planetary combat, humans had spent thousands of years fighting wars that forced them to constantly innovate and adapt. The battle recordings were broadcast across the galaxy within hours. Trillions of beings watched in absolute terror as the species they had dismissed as primitive demonstrated military capabilities that seemed to belong in science fiction rather than reality. 1 year had passed since the great battle at the edge of human space, and the galaxy was a completely different place. The three-way war that had raged for over 2 centuries had ended not through negotiation or exhaustion, but through the simple reality that all 3 factions were now too terrified of humanity to continue fighting each other. Admiral Taemin Park stood on the observation deck of the orbital station New Sejong, looking out at the steady stream of ships moving through human space. The station was one of 12 new facilities built to handle the massive increase in galactic traffic. Everyone, it seemed, wanted to trade with, learn from, or simply avoid angering the humans. "Admiral, the morning briefing is ready," announced Captain Da-Yun Kim as she approached with a data tablet. As the new director of galactic relations, Kim had the challenging job of managing humanity's relationships with thousands of alien species. "What's the situation today?" Park asked. 3 new species have submitted applications to join the Terran Protectorate. The Crystalline Consortium wants to discuss mining rights in the Vega system. And we've received another request from the former Threx territories asking for peacekeeping forces. Park nodded and followed Kim to the briefing room. The transformation of galactic politics had happened faster than anyone had expected. Within weeks of the battle, the Galactic Council had dissolved itself and reformed as the Terran Protectorate Council, officially recognizing human military supremacy. The new system was surprisingly simple. Humanity had established basic rules for galactic civilization. No species could develop weapons capable of destroying planets, all interstellar conflicts had to be mediated by human arbitrators, and any new technology had to be approved by the Terran Science Directorate. How are the former war zones? Park asked as they reviewed the daily reports. Improving, Kim replied. Captain Bo-Ram Kim's peacekeeping fleet has successfully mediated 17 territorial disputes this month. Most species are so afraid of human intervention that they're settling their conflicts through negotiation rather than warfare. It was true. The peacekeeping fleet, consisting of human vessels stationed throughout the former war zones, rarely had to actually fight. The mere presence of human ships was enough to prevent most conflicts from escalating. Captain Kim had discovered this during her first peacekeeping mission in the former Velkari-Nethys border region. 2 species that had been fighting over a mineral-rich system for decades had immediately agreed to share the resources equally when a single human destroyer arrived to mediate. What about the technology transfer programs? Park asked. Director Min-seok Choi reports excellent progress, Kim answered. The Terran Science Directorate has approved 17 new technologies for galactic distribution this month, including improved medical scanners and more efficient fusion reactors. This was another surprise. Instead of hoarding their advanced technology, humans had begun sharing it with other species. But they were careful about what they shared. Medical technology, improved communications, and better space engines were freely distributed. Weapons technology remained strictly controlled. The aliens are still confused by our approach, Kim continued. They expected us to conquer them or enslave them. Instead, we're helping them build better civilizations. Park smiled. That's because they don't understand human nature. We've always been explorers and builders, not just warriors. The briefing was interrupted by an urgent transmission from the outer sensor networks. Lieutenant Hyun-Woo Lee appeared on the communication screen, his expression serious. Admiral, we're detecting unknown ships at the edge of the galaxy. They're not from any known species. Park felt a chill run down his spine. How many ships? Estimated. Fleet size is over 10,000 vessels. They're using propulsion systems we've never seen before. Sir, I think we're looking at an extragalactic invasion force. This was the scenario that had always worried human strategists. While they could easily handle any threat from within the galaxy, an invasion from outside could bring unknown technologies and overwhelming numbers. Alert all fleet commanders, Park ordered, and contact the Protectorate Council. If we're facing an external threat, we need to work together. Within hours, emergency sessions were being held on every major world in the galaxy. The alien leaders, who had once considered humans a threat, now looked to them for protection. Honored Admiral Park, transmitted former Fleet Commander Gorvak, the Velkari Empire places all our remaining ships under human command. We know you can protect us. Similar messages arrived from the Nethys Collective and the Threx Swarm. Species that had once been enemies were now united under human leadership. Commander Hoseok Kong, who had been leading humanitarian missions to war-torn worlds, was recalled to military duty. Captain Yejin Song, who had been overseeing reconstruction efforts, received orders to prepare her engineering fleets for possible combat. But as the unknown ships drew closer, human sensors began to gather more information about them. Dr. Jung-mi, Lee of the Xenological Institute, made a disturbing discovery. Admiral, we've analyzed the alien ship designs, she reported during an emergency meeting. They appear to be organic vessels, but not like anything we've seen before. These ships seem to be alive in a way that goes beyond even Velkari biotechnology. What do you mean? Park asked. I mean, these ships might actually be living creatures. Massive spaceborne organisms that have developed the ability to travel between galaxies. The implications were staggering. If the invaders were actually living beings rather than constructed ships, they might be immune to many conventional weapons. Human plasma lances and quantum torpedoes were designed to destroy mechanical systems, not biological organisms. Sir, reported Captain Kim, the alien fleet has entered the outer edge of the galaxy. They're moving toward the core worlds. Estimated time to reach human space, 72 hours. Park made a decision that would define humanity's role in the galaxy. Signal all Protectorate forces. We're going to meet them at the Sagittarius border. This is what we've been preparing for. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Every species in the galaxy contributed ships to the defense force. The Velkari provided their fastest bioships for reconnaissance. The Nethys offered their energy manipulation technology for enhanced shields. The Threx contributed their hive mind coordination abilities for fleet communications, but the backbone of the defense force was still human. Admiral Park commanded the largest fleet ever assembled, 8,000 human ships supported by over 20,000 vessels from allied species. As the combined fleet moved toward the galactic border, Dr. Lee continued her analysis of the incoming threat. Her findings were both encouraging and terrifying. The good news is that these creatures appear to be herbivorous, she reported. They're not coming to destroy us. They're coming to feed on the energy produced by stellar radiation. And the bad news? Park asked. They feed by consuming entire star systems. They literally eat stars and planets to sustain themselves. If they're not stopped, they'll consume every system in the galaxy. The battle at the Sagittarius border was unlike anything in galactic history. The invading creatures were massive, some of them larger than moons, with tentacles that could wrap around entire planets. They moved through space like a swarm of cosmic jellyfish, leaving empty darkness behind them. Human weapons proved effective, but the creatures were so large that destroying them required coordinated attacks from multiple ships. This was where the combined nature of the defense force became crucial. While human ships provided the firepower, alien vessels contributed their specialized abilities. The battle lasted for 6 days. When it ended, the Galactic Defense Force had successfully repelled the invasion, though at a significant cost. Over 3,000 ships had been destroyed, including several hundred human vessels. But the victory had a profound impact on galactic civilization. For the first time in history, all the major species had fought together as allies rather than enemies. The shared struggle against an external threat had created bonds that transcended old rivalries and conflicts. Admiral, reported Captain Kim as the fleet returned to human space, we're receiving transmission from over 100 species. They all want to formalize their alliance with humanity. 6 months later, Admiral Park stood once again on the observation deck of New Sejong Station. But now he was looking at something that would have been impossible a year earlier, a galaxy at peace. The Terran Protectorate had evolved into something more than just human dominance over alien species. It had become a true alliance where humans provided military leadership and protection, while other species contributed their unique abilities and knowledge. Sir, announced Captain Kim as she joined him at the viewing window, the morning reports are ready. 7 new species have requested membership in the Protectorate. The Andromeda Contact Project has detected signals from another galaxy, and the Deep Space Exploration Fleet is ready to launch its first extragalactic mission. Park smiled as he watched the ships moving peacefully through space. Humans, Velkari, Nethys, Threx, and dozens of other species working together, building something that none of them could have achieved alone. You know what's interesting?